Hello, let's continue our Sudoku adventure with My Buddy Andy Made Me Do It by Calvinball. This is part of his series where he asks one of his friends for, hey, what constraints should I use? And then builds a puzzle using that. So this is killer cages and arrows, very standard constraints. So first, in every row, every column, and every 2x3 box, we are placing the digits 1 to 6 exactly once each. We also have these cages in the grid. That's these cells surrounded by dotted lines. Digits cannot repeat in a cage. So if this was a 2, this can't also be a 2 because they're in the same cage. Additionally, all of the digits sum to the value in the top left. So these 4 sum to 13, these 4 sum to 15. And then we have arrows in the grid. The arrows are connected to a circle. Whatever digits are on the arrow, that sum goes in the circle. So this was 2, 3. The sum would be 5. We put a 5 in the circle. This was 2, 4. The sum would be 6. We put a 6 in the circle. And that's it. Those are the rules. There's a link in the description if you'd like to try the puzzle yourself. And I'm going to get started right now. All right, 6 and 3 is the absolute minimum that could go into a 3-cell cage. 1, 2, 3. If you add them up, they add to 6. Remember, you can't repeat any digits. That means this is 4, 5, 6. So these add to at least 9. They add to 9 or 10 or 11. And so that would leave 8, 7, or 6 here. I'm not sure if that's immediately helpful. 10 and 3 is pretty open. Maybe I should think about this here. Okay, so we have 2, 4, 5, 6s here, 2 high digits. You cannot put 2 high digits on an arrow like this. If you do that, the minimum sum is 9. Definitely can't put a 9 in a circle. 6 is our max. So, as a result, this is 4, 5, 6. But that means that 2 of these digits, one is low and one is high. So that means we can't use a 3 because as soon as our low is a 3, our minimum high is a 4, and that adds to 7. So this is not a 3 because these 3 digits go up here in case that's not clear. Just because where do they go in this box? They don't go here. So 6x6s are naturally roped horizontally. So that means that the 3 is up here somewhere. Now the 6 is definitely not going on here. So we have a 1, 2 with a 4, 5 basically. And that's going to add to at least 5. So this is a 5 or a 6. So that uses up all that. So that means this isn't a 4, right? This can't add to 4. Can't put 1, 3 on it. And so this is the high digit that goes here. These are both low. And so that means this is not a 4. So 4 is one of these two. And then these 2 digits, all the highs are used up, right? We have these 2 lows, 1, 2, 3, and we know one of them's a 3. And so this adds to either 4 or 5. If this added to 4, these 2 add to 9. If this adds to 5, these 2 add to 8. So these add to 8 or 9. Now, because these use the 4, this adds to 9 or 10, making this 8 or 9. Is that the same? So this adds to 8 or 9. I'm just going to use these as scratch. This adds to 8 or 9 because this adds to 9 or 10. No, wait, so it's 7 or 8. Sorry. 7 or 8, 9, and then this adds to, I'm glad I corrected that, 4 or 5. So this adds to 8 or 9. And so we know the entire row adds to 21. I'm just trying to figure out if this is helpful information. The entire row adds to 21. You know what? I see something else. Because I don't think this is helpful yet. We have another 2-cell arrow here. And remember, we can't put 2 highs on it. 2 highs is way too big. But we already have 2 lows used up in this column. In fact, I'm going to start coloring lows and highs. I think that's going to be helpful. Because there are 3 lows and 3 highs in every row, column, and box. And so that makes it clear that we only get 1 more low here. So we have the same issue that we can't put it's going to have 1 low and 1 high. 1 of each, just like here. So exactly 1 of each. And so we're not able to use the 6, and we're not able to use the 3. So this is from 1, 2, 4, 5 also. And so there's a 1, 2 on here, and there's a 1, 2 here, making this the 3. But it also means that these 2 must be high. And so this is, and we already know there's a 4 up here. So this is 5, 6 only. This is 4, 5, 6. But that's 3 highs in here. That's a 4, 5, 6 triple. We know that that adds to 15. And so this is low and it's a 2. That makes that 1 and 2. That makes this a 1-3 pair, and that makes this not be a 1, which means we can't do 2-5. So this is exactly 2-4, which adds to 6, and then this is our 5, and that's 6. And so now this is a 4-5 pair. That makes this a 6. All right, and this doesn't have 2 on it, so it could be 1-4 or 1-5. If it's 1-4, it adds to 5. If it's 1-5, it adds to 6, which does make it high. Okay, so we know what these two add to, because these add to 4. So these add to 9. Without the 6, it has to be 4-5, so that's 4 and that's 5. They're both high. And so this is the 1 and 3 then, which are both low. That adds to 4, so these have to add to 11. The only way to add to 11 and 2 is 5, 6. So that's 6, that's 5. They're both high. That gives us the 4 and the 5 here. This now has to add to 6. So this has to be a 1-5 pair, and this 5 resolves it. That's 1, that's 5. So we can color those correctly. That's a 4. We have all our highs in this box. These are all low. We need a high in this box, which is a 4. Here we get resolved the 3 and the 1, the 3 and the 1. This has to be a 3. This is a 1-2 pair. Okay. Down here we have 2 lows. 2-3 pair. So I think this 10 is going to have to resolve it. We can place the 6 in the box, though. That helps. That means that these add to 4, which is a 1-3 pair. They're both low. So that's 3 and 1. That's 2 and 3. That's a 4 and a 2. So that's not low, and that's not high. We get the 2 and the 1 here. Let's finish the coloring first before we finish the puzzle by accident. So we know that these both have to be high for the column, and that makes this low. Okay. So that's a 2, that's a 4, and that's a 5. And we're done. Nice puzzle, Calvinball. I really liked the logic of that one. I didn't expect it to be a low-high puzzle, but it was. And thinking about that really helped streamline how to move through this puzzle. That was a really neat interaction. I enjoyed that. How'd you do?